Solar, wind, and nuclear energy can all replace oil, but there is absolutely no replacement for water. Every economy, industry, and human life depends on it. Less than 1% of the Earth's water is drinkable. In an era where water scarcity is becoming a pressing global concern, a notable trend has emerged. Billionaires and private corporations are increasingly investing in water resources. This movement has sparked debates about the implications of privatizing such a vital necessity. What the motivations behind these acquisitions, and what are the broader consequences of commodifying water? Water is fundamental to life, agriculture, manufacturing, cities, and industries. As climate change intensifies droughts and depletes freshwater sources, the value of water rights and assets has surged. Recognizing this, affluent individuals and corporations view water as a strategic investment, anticipating that its scarcity will drive up its economic worth. In the United States, the privatization of water services has been on the rise. According to the National Association of Water Companies, nearly 73 million Americans now rely on private companies for their drinking and wastewater needs, a substantial increase over the past 5 years. This shift indicates a growing acceptance of private sector involvement in water management. A prominent example of private control over water resources is the case of billionaires Stuart and Linda Resnick. Through their company, The Wonderful Co., the Resnicks have acquired a majority stake in a water bank capable of storing up to 1.5 million acre-feet, close to 500 billion gallons of water in California. While this represents a fraction of the state's overall water supply, it grants them significant influence over water distribution in a region frequently plagued by drought. Critics argue that such control allows private entities to prioritize their agricultural interests over the needs of the broader population, especially during water shortages. Investigations have revealed that in a series of secret meetings in 1994, the Resnicks secured control over substantial portions of California's public water supply, enabling them to build a business empire by selling water back to consumers. Data centers use water primarily for cooling servers and maintaining optimal humidity. The rapid expansion of data centers, particularly those operated by tech giants like Meta, is having a profound impact on global water resources. These massive facilities, which house thousands of servers processing and storing data, require extensive cooling systems to prevent overheating. Many data centers use water-based cooling methods, drawing millions of gallons from local water bodies such as lakes, rivers, and underground aquifers. For example, Meta's data center portfolio, consuming 663 million gallons, 2.5 billion liters of water, comprised of withdrawal of 956 million gallons, 3.6 billion liters of water, less discharge of 293 million gallons, 1.1 billion liters of water, significantly straining local water supplies. This level of consumption is particularly concerning in areas already facing water scarcity, where increased withdrawals could deplete natural reserves and disrupt ecosystems. Beyond sheer consumption, data centers also contribute to thermal pollution, as the heated water used in cooling systems is often discharged back into lakes and rivers at elevated temperatures. This sudden rise in water temperature can have devastating effects on aquatic life, altering ecosystems and reducing oxygen levels in the water. In areas where fish and other wildlife are sensitive to temperature fluctuations, such as in parts of Oregon and Arizona, thermal pollution from data centers has raised concerns among environmentalists and policymakers. While some companies have adopted advanced cooling technologies, such as evaporative cooling and liquid immersion systems, these solutions still require significant water usage and do not completely eliminate environmental risks. The increasing demand for artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and digital services means that data center expansion will only continue, exacerbating their strain on water bodies. As concerns grow, companies like Meta, Google, and Microsoft have pledged to improve water efficiency and invest in water restoration projects. For instance, Microsoft has committed to becoming water positive by 2030, meaning it will replenish more water than it consumes. However, critics argue that these measures may not be enough to counterbalance the long-term environmental impact. Without stricter regulations and innovative sustainable cooling solutions, the ongoing expansion of data centers could pose a serious threat to global water security. The privatization of water services is a contentious issue, sparking debates about efficiency, affordability, and accessibility. Proponents argue that private companies can introduce better infrastructure, investment, and innovation in water management, making systems more reliable and sustainable. They believe that competition in the private sector can lead to improved service delivery and modernization of outdated water systems. However, opponents raise significant concerns about the implications of privatizing such a fundamental resource. One major issue is increased costs. Studies have shown that privately owned water utilities often charge significantly higher rates compared to public systems. For instance, a report from Food and Water Watch found that private water service costs, on average, 59% more than public water service, which translates to an additional $185 per year for the typical household. Another critical concern is access and equity. Water is a basic necessity, and there is a risk that profit-driven entities might prioritize areas that generate the most revenue while neglecting low-income communities. This could lead to disparities in water accessibility, where wealthier areas receive better services while marginalized communities struggle with unreliable or unaffordable water. Accountability is also a pressing issue. Public water systems are typically subject to governmental oversight and community input, ensuring that public needs are prioritized over profits. In contrast, privatization can reduce transparency, as corporate decisions are often driven by financial motives rather than public welfare. The UN Special Rapporteur on the Human Right to Clean Water, Professor Pedro Arrojo Agudo, has criticized privatized water systems, emphasizing the need for public ownership to maintain transparency and ensure community involvement in decision-making. Internationally, the push toward water privatization has faced resistance. In Africa, for example, the Our Water, Our Right Africa Coalition has advocated against public-private partnerships in water management, emphasizing the necessity of public control to ensure equitable access. Conversely, some argue that private investment is essential for addressing infrastructure challenges and improving service delivery. In the United States, private water companies have been operating for over 200 years, with thousands currently in operation. Collectively, they serve more than 73 million Americans. Treating water as a commodity raises ethical and practical questions. Water is a basic human right, essential for survival. When control over water resources is concentrated in the hands of a few, there is a danger that access could be restricted based on the ability to pay, exacerbating social inequalities. Moreover, the commodification of water can lead to speculative trading, where investors buy water rights not for use but for profit, potentially driving up prices and reducing availability for those who need it most. This scenario has been observed in the Western United States, where profiteering companies are acquiring water rights amid dwindling supplies, leading to concerns about hoarding and price manipulation. The increasing acquisition of water resources by billionaires and private corporations is a complex issue with significant implications for society. While private investment can contribute to improved infrastructure and efficiency, it also poses risks related to cost, equity, and public accountability. As water scarcity becomes more pronounced, it is crucial to balance the interests of private investors with the fundamental human right to accessible and affordable water. Ultimately, the debate over water privatization highlights a fundamental question. Should access to water be treated as a commodity governed by market forces, or should it remain a publicly controlled resource to safeguard its availability for all? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for watching.